Hello again. This is Dr. Chris Zimmer, and I'm back to kind of correct some problems in the last video. Came up with the date of the 4th of January and got about halfway through that date and figured nothing's happening. And it turns out, after looking into the clues, I thought the clues were finished at that point, but we had to go a little bit further into it to find some more to it. I'll get into that. But first, riddle me this. What is always on its way here, but never arrives? Is it the rapture? No, that's on its way and it's going to be here soon. It's tomorrow. Okay, so last time we found this huge clue. It's not only saying, sincerely that the rapture's on the way and in earnest that the rapture's on the way. It's saying this is completion, literally, or fulfillment of the rapture. And if you look at the first string in pi, it's 777, which is completion or fulfillment, and it overlaps 726, which of course is harpazo. 2025 gives the year, and then 602 is the uncovering or the revealing of something. And if we look at that, then it's fulfillment of 726, fulfillment of harpazo in 2025, a revealing. If we go to the fifth string, and by the way, something I didn't say last time, we're looking at the first and fifth strings. If we put the 1 and 5 back to back, we get 15, and 15, of course, is rest. So this seems to be signifying rest. And we see the same thing in the fifth string. We get 777 overlapping with 726 and 2025, but in the same place as the 602 or the revealing now, we have 4667, and this looks more like a year, like we've been calculating for the past four numbers or past four vernal equinoxes, the precession of the equinoxes, and this looks like 4667 BC. So far so good. But I stopped it at this point. I didn't take it any further, and it seems that we need to in order to complete it, and we'll get into that. So what did we do with this last time? We went to the vernal equinox on 427 and 4667, and that gave us a time too, but we also got the ecliptic longitude J2000 from that, and now we can take that longitude and transpose it to this, or last year actually now, 2024, but we're still continuing those calculations. We don't want to go to 2025 because this will shoot us way into the future. And besides, we had 4 scriptures that were telling us Tishrei 1 in 2024. So that's telling us literally stick with these calculations and calculate Tishrei 1 from 2024. So that's what we stick with. If we do that, now we get June 23rd, and we get a specific time, but I don't count on the time because going back that far in time, the clock sort of skews just a bit. Not a lot, but enough. We get the same day, but it'll skew as much as an hour or so. So we don't want to mess with the time on this. We're using strictly the date. So using 623, we went into the calculations, and we started a location of Jerusalem, and we calculate the precessional difference is 95 days, 2 hours, 17 minutes, and 8 seconds. Then we transfer to location of Mazatlan because that's where we had all the signs and that's where we were given the time. And we continue with the calculation. We come up with January 4th. Well, that was all very well and good for the previous calculations because that gave us, Halloween and Christmas, and then, out of those specific dates, we had a theme going, and that led us to the message of a gift from God. So we did properly for those first 4 precessional years, but now we need to change something, and I'll show you why. This is now the 5th precessional date, ends up being 111, and if we take that 4667 BC and we turn it into a Strong's, the Strong's number G4667 gives us Smyrna, which is used only once. And where is it used? Revelation 1:11. So we're actually, if you continue it and you look up the Strongs, you actually get the date. And I think the way the Father did this is so that we'll see it here, and then if we do the calculation, we'll see it again. So we actually have two witnesses to establish a thing. And Revelation 1:11, of course, is saying, I am Alpha and Omega, the first and the last, and what thou seest write in a book, and send it unto the seven churches. So this is addressing all the churches. And if this is the date of 1:11, which I believe it is, then this is to all the churches, which are in Asia, Ephesus, Smyrna, and so on. But Smyrna has a specific message that's very important too. So let's depart from that 4667 just for a moment and look up the other Smyrna that's used, and that's actually means in Smyrna. It's just a slight difference in the usage of that word, and that's Strong's G4668, and that takes us to Revelation 2:8 through 11. So we get some interesting numbers there. We get the 8:11, which we'd seen before, but we also get a 2:11. And let's read, and unto the angel of the church in Smyrna write, these things saith the first and the last, which was dead and is alive. I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are of the synagogue of Satan. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. And now in Revelation 2:11, which sticks with our robbery theme, it says, he that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. Now this is to all the churches. He that overcometh shall not be hurt of the second death. So this is all about a message of overcoming. In other words, don't go back to your old ways. Stay in Christ and overcome. So good message here, if we take it even further and go to 4668. But the main message is, if you go 4667, which is what we found in Pi, you'll look in Scripture now and you'll see Revelation 1:11, which actually gives the date. And if we use that date, we get that's the 11th day of 2025. And if you remember last year, we had two or more clues where we had something relating to the 11th day of summer and the 11th day of fall. So we had an 11:11 in that. And now this is the fifth processional date and the only one in 2025. Again, going with grace and the fifth feast to be fulfilled. And again, just like 1:4, the one we calculated incorrectly, 1:11 is also a Saturday, the Sabbath, and it's a day of rest represented by the number 15. So that matches with the pi strings 1 and 5, making the number 15. Okay, so if we do the calculation the correct way, and we leave the location in Jerusalem, because we're no longer seeking the time, and we're no longer looking at the signs, the eclipse over great American eclipses and all that. We're simply calculating from Jerusalem, and what happens? We get the same processional difference. We get the 95 days, 2 hours, 17 minutes, and 8 seconds. But now we have to add that 7-day intercalary week that has to happen in the Qumran calendar. So we shoot way forward, and we calculate a date of 6/30/24 for the month 1, day 1. That takes us to 7/13, month 1, day 14, which is Passover. We add 182 days, and we come to month 7, day 1, which is now January 11th, 2025. And I'm not concerned with the correction for the time, because we won't be using that time. We'll be sticking with what we found from Mazatlan for that. Because again, this is going too far back in time to where we actually skew the time a little bit. So here is the correct way to do the calculation, and we now have two witnesses to the same date, January 11th. Okay, and then this is just kind of rehashing this to show that 7-1 is really important. The eclipse last year on 4/8 plus 84 days, so we get a 4884 is 7-1, or the equivalent of Tishrei 1. The 4884 is sinarpazo, means to seize by force and carry away. G71 is go, bring forth. 7-1 was Sivan 25 last year, which 325 means I send up or deliver, so we're looking for that deliverance. And then Pentecost last year was on 2/11, sticking with that robbery theme. Drayton Bunyan's 68 code takes us, if we count 68 days backwards and forwards from 7-1 last year, we get the message, go up and sincere. And it looks like we're still cleared for departure. Just to rehash, we had a moon occulting Venus on 9/5 last year, and a time of 600, so Strong's G600 is restore again. The usage is 7-1, so we get a 7-1 again, and that means, of course, bring forth. And we also had moon occulting Spica in Virgo on Christmas Eve last year, so that would be 24/24, and that's Jesus, and at a time of 21:12, which is immediately, and then the seconds are 55, which is sincerely. So back then we were still getting that message of sincerely and earnest. We had both of those messages, and now we're getting a message of fulfillment or completion. So it's about to come to an end. We also had 325 to 1225 last year is 9 months exactly, and then 325 is deliver, so we got the delivery of a child. 528 to 1225, we had 211 days twice, and 720, even if we count up to 724 in 2025, which is harpage, another one of those robbery-themed words, and we get 211 twice, it's fitting with that theme. We also have 153 days twice, and also have within the same date, we have 725 forwards and backwards, and that 725 is harpagmos, or robbery. And let's see, if we look through the range of that Halloween to Christmas last year, we have 55 days, 1 month, 25 days, or 15.03%. So that gave us 55, 125, and 153. Interesting numbers. And then we have a message of depart if we go from Nisan 1 to Christmas last year. And then we started looking at 1231, which was really interesting. We're getting a billboard now that's telling us what is upcoming. And 323 from Nisan 1 to 1231 was send or send away. And let's see, 48, which was the eclipse to 1231, was change. And so on. We get change, reward, brethren, and draught, which is a hunting of fish or a haul. So there's that 153 fish, big fish being caught. And from the day of the signs, the 919, we had forbearance and sincere all the way up to Christmas. And then to the last day of the year, we have reward and sing. So these are, big billboard themes telling us that it's about to happen. And also, I tried this again like I did with 1.4. I tried it with 1.11, and I don't get any interesting messages like this, which seems to say that this has already been said last year all the way up till the last day of the year, and now we're just looking for fulfillment. Okay, so redoing this, and I hope this is the last time, but it's essentially the same times as for calculated for 1.4, only this is 1.11. And it's all based on 8:53:23 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, which was in Mazatlan. So going off of that time, which was shown in so many different places, this should be correct. This should be the correct time in these time zones. And now, hopefully the correct day, because we have 2 witnesses to that date. So cross my fingers, and I hope I see you in the sky. God bless.